What is going on, guys? I'm Laserbolt and welcome to a Darktide video. With Darktide just around the corner, guys, it's time to decide who is the best character suited for you, your playstyle. Definitely gonna want to know what character you should heavily invest your time in, because there are a total of 4 characters and all have different ways of playing. Alright guys, so we're going to get started with the classes, and before we jump in straight into each individual class, I want to talk to you guys about the power structure that we have for each individual class. So each individual class will have an ability, an iconic, a blitz, and an aura, plus weapons, okay? So the ability is an active power that has supported functions. In addition to that, it has a cooldown. The iconic are minor character support effects, which as you progress through the game could be interchanged and interlocked. Then you have Blitz, which are active combat abilities. And then you have Aura, which is a passive support ability that's going to benefit you and the rest of the team. So with that being said, let's get started with the veteran, the Sharpshooter. So if you're a first-person enthusiast and you come from playing a lot of games like Call of Duty, Apex Legends, this is going to be the class that it's going to be mostly suited for you. The fact that this is going to be the one that you kind of draw yourself onto, because this is the highest crit damage class. So if you like doing a lot of crit damage, like to have a big volume of ammo at your disposal, it's the class with the highest amount of damage, and it has some really good features that we're definitely going to discuss. So the ability that it comes is called Volley Fire, which is going to allow you to designate an elite and a special enemy, and you're going to be able to get these prioritized targets. And when you do, it's going to increase your range damage for 50%. So you want to be fighting at a distance. You're going to be able to see these special enemies through walls when you use this ability. So the way you want to use this ability, highlight them. It's kind of like a little radar scope. Like if you think of Predator, like the movie, when he does his little, his little scan, it's going to scan, it's going to highlight the enemy. And that is when you need to actually target that enemy. And you're going to be able to get a plus 50% range damage. That's really good. It ties in perfectly with his iconic abilities. He comes out with 2. Now, like I said, remember, these are changeable as you progress. You'll be able to swap these out. But the ones that comes with this makes every shot count, which is going to give you a 15% damage increase when you hit a weak spot. So once again, weak spots are headshots. So you kind of multiply that if you do the volley ability and you get this particular, you're looking at a 65 damage increment, which is really good if you hit that headshot. Then it also comes with Be Prepared, which is going to increase the ammo reserve for all ranged weapons by 75%. Once again, this character is meant to play at a little bit of distance, and you're going to primarily want to be using your sniper rifle or your DMR, depending on the weapon of your choice. Then we have Blitz, which is going to allow you to obtain a frag grenade that explodes after a short fuse timer. So it's like a little frag grenade that you're able to throw there, and doesn't explode on impact. It explodes over time. So you guys want to make sure you either cook it or you kind of play around with it, kind of exactly when to throw it and when it should actually go off. The ability that it has for everybody in the team is called Scavenger Hunt, which is that every time your team kills an elite, you will gain a small amount of ammunition. So this character right here, guys, it's never going to be running out of ammo. It comes, I believe he has a total of 600 bullets in the mag. And in addition to that, you're constantly replenishing these ammo. So if you guys like to play a little bit of distance, like that whole FPS mechanics, and want to make sure that you're doing the highest amount of crit damage, then this is definitely the one you want to go with. If I had to put like a level curve here, like on how long it's going to take you to actually master this class, I'm going to put him within the medium category. All right, next up, guys, we have the Zealot Preacher. Now, the Zealot Preacher is a very interesting character, and this is going to be mostly primarily as your kind of your berserker, your number 1 character that has the highest crit damage. Okay, so he has, out of anybody in the game, if you're going to look for a person that's going to walk up to the boss and just smack them, this is the character you want to go with. Okay, highest crit damage in the whole entire game, and his volume of attack when it comes to melee is extremely good. Now, the only thing with him, guys, which I'll talk a little bit later, is how high the being able to master him is going to take. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in and talk about his abilities. Due to the fact that he's a very close quarter combat specialist, he's going to have less health than many. And it just becomes a little bit more trickier playing with him, because you kind of have that thing where it's high risk, high reward, and his abilities kind of coincide with that. So the first ability he has is called Chastise the Wicked, which is going to allow you to dash towards the enemy. And when you dash toward the enemy, the skill will renew toughness and increase the next melee hit by 25%, granting a crit hit. So you're going to charge up at the enemy. It's going to knock them down. If you melee hit them once, then it give you 25% damage. Plus, it's going to guarantee that that hit is going to be a crit hit, which is really awesome. So once again, this is definitely really good for those, high level hard target enemies. Then we have the iconics. He has a total of 3 of them. He has martyrdom, which is going to give him a 5% damage for each 15 missing health. It stacks up to 3 times. So the more health you're missing, which is the high risk, high reward that we're talking about, the more 5% damage you're going to be able to get, and you're going to stack this up to 3 times. Then he has until death. If you receive damage that will kill you, you gain invulnerability for 5 seconds, and this is able to proc every 9 seconds. So once again, high risk, high reward. He also has Swift Exorcism, which is melee attack speed is increased by 10%. So once again, you're supposed to get up close and personal with your ability, get those nice melee ins, but always constantly be looking at your health, because at any time, even though you're gaining damage points by having low health, you could pretty much die. So you got to make sure you guys mind. As soon as that vulnerability kicks in, that is the time you got to dip and go and get your health. Now his blitz is a stun grenade, so this is just pretty much a stun grenade. It stuns the enemy, pushes them back, and knocks them down. Really good nade here to have. And his aura is the Emperor's Will, which is going to grab 10% toughness damage reduction. So toughness, if you guys are never played this game, it's pretty much a shield. So just think about it. Toughness equals shield. So you get 10% shield damage reduction. So you want to make sure you keep that in mind. And I think the learning curve for this character is going to be really high. I think a lot of people are going to pick him just because he is that berserker type of character that likes to be up close, do a lot of damage. But I think a lot of people are going to be dying with him, where that, ceiling of learning how to play with him is going to be really high, because you're going to need to be able to manage his health and find out exactly when you need to go out, when you got to come in, and when do you actually need to, rush in there and hit that melee or hit that enemy or boss really fast and really quick. Then we have Psyker, Cybernetics, guys. Now, this is the most interesting character out of all of them. Definitely the one that has a ton of learning curve and has a lot of very interesting mechanics. He unfortunately has the lowest amount of DPS, but don't worry, guys. He has a very, very good high special kill count. So he's able to kill multiple enemies, and he could put special enemies down with an ease. So he's going to be a very good character as long as you're able to play him correctly and are not, kind of like in the fray of things, because he does have very low amount of health, but he's able to do a ton of damage and single target damage as well. So one interesting thing to note about him, guys, is that you could actually, if not used correctly, kill yourself by using his abilities, which is pretty crazy, right? So we have the Psykinetic Wraith, which is a staggers enemy in front of you and resets the perilous of the warp meter. This is the meter that we're talking about, because if you don't watch this meter, it could be death. Basically, what that's going to do, it's going to stagger the enemy in front of you, and you pretty much are going to be working on your warp meter, which is really important, which we'll talk about right now. With his iconic abilities, he has a thing called Warp Siphon. If you kill an opponent with a Brain Burst, you will receive a warp charge. You can have a maximum of 4, and these each last 20 seconds and increase your damage by 4%. He also has a thing called Inner Tranquility, which allows you to reduce the peril by 10%. So being able to manage your peril meter is going to be extremely important, because this is the thing that might kill you if you're not managing it correctly. Then we have Blitz, which is Brain Burst. It's going to inflict high damage and can blow up an opponent's head. This is the one that you're going to want to constantly be targeting high-level enemies. That's the one that's going to be doing a ton of damage. Then we have Aura, which is the kinetic presence, which is going to allow your teammates to be around you. And the more they're around you, they're going to deal a 10% more damage to elite enemies. So if you're fighting an elite enemy, you definitely want to be close to a Psyker to make sure you increase that damage by 10%, which is really, really good. Now, as far as him is concerned about the kind of level of difficulty, I think he's going to be between medium and hard. As long as you learn to not die with your own ability, you should be fine. And being able to maintain your distance. So if you kind of like that player that likes that whole mage ability, this is the character for you. Next we have the Organ Skullbreaker, guys. Now this guy, I'm going to go, he is the tank of the whole team. He is the one that's really tanky. He has the highest amount of damage that he could intake and block. So he's super tanky. And guys, no one's going to be pushing this guy around. He's kind of the leader of the team and the one that's going to be doing all aggroing. So yeah, definitely your tank in this particular game. His ability is called Bull Rush. it's just pretty much what he does. He bull rushes someone. He rushes someone and he knocks everybody down as he rushes them. They just fall down, which is really crazy and cool. His iconic abilities are Excessive Force, which is going to give him a plus 25 melee stagger. He has a Loyal Protector, which is reviving or assisting allies will not be interrupted by damage. This is extremely important, guys, because in this game, as you guys know, there's multiple levels, and you're definitely going to want to have one of these on your team, because this is going to save the day. He's like the lifesaver tank. I mean, he's just awesome. Then we have Thick Skin, which is going to give you a plus 20 toughness and health damage reduction, making him super tanky. His blitz is called the Grenade Box, which is really cool because it's going to allow you to hurdle a grenade box and kind of single target damage. Now, one interesting thing about this box is you're not able to randomly throw it like in kind of like an aerial effect. You actually have to aim it at a person and do single target damage. Okay, so you want to make sure you guys keep that in mind. His aura is called Intimidating Presence, which is going to give him a 10% heavy melee attack damage. Now, of course, guys, if you like to be the tank of the group, this is definitely the class you want to go with. Now, I didn't go over the weapons because each character will have a melee weapon and a ranged weapon. Now, the thing within the game is you start off with the ranged weapon, but you can always add an SMG, an LMG, like a DMR, a pistol. So each individual character starts off with a specific weapon, but you're always able to either purchase or earn yourself a different weapon. So that's why I really didn't cover the weapons into detail. So you guys can keep that in mind, that each character will have a melee and a weapon as well. Let me know, out of all the characters we discussed, which one do you feel fits more of your playstyle, and who will you be playing as when the game releases? Guys, remember, head on over to our Discord if you plan on playing the game and want to link up and play with a couple really cool, like-minded individuals that are planning to play Darktide. Make sure you guys head over to our Discord link down below. I want to say thank you very much, guys, for all the love and support you guys have shown on the channel. Do consider dropping a like, dropping a comment, but most importantly, subscribing, turn on all your notifications for more Darktide content. And if you want to show more love and support, do consider becoming part of the Bull Nation by hitting that join button down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.